Kevin, Lisa, Tyler, and little Mia Owens were the picture of a perfect suburban family, until one June morning, 3 of them were found brutally murdered in their Florida home, and 4-year-old Mia had vanished without a trace. Palm Ridge, Florida, wasn't the kind of place where things went wrong. Nestled between thick lines of palm trees and warm breezes off the Gulf, the town was known for its quiet streets and neighborly charm. People left their doors unlocked. Kids rode bikes until sundown. Families gathered on porches for evening chats. At the end of Lakeview Drive sat a pale blue house with white shutters and a wraparound porch. It belonged to the Owens family: Kevin, Lisa, their teenage son Tyler, and their youngest, 4-year-old Mia. They had lived there for 5 years, and in that time they had blended in like any other family on the block. They waved at the mailman, hosted backyard cookouts, and kept their yard meticulously trimmed. From the outside, their life seemed perfectly ordinary. That illusion shattered on the morning of June 3rd, 2023. The day started like any other, hot and humid, with the sun rising over the still surface of the neighborhood lake. But there was a strange stillness in the air, a sense of something just slightly off. Across the street, an elderly neighbor noticed the Owens' garbage bins still at the curb. Normally, Kevin took them in just after 7 a.m. sharp. She also saw their Labrador. Shadow wasn't out in the yard barking like usual. The front door was open just a crack. She called out once, then twice. No answer. Her unease deepened. By 10 a.m., 2 more neighbors had gathered outside the Owens house. One of them, a former firefighter, walked cautiously up the porch steps and gently pushed the door open. Inside, the silence was thick, unnatural. The house was dark. He called out, but was met with nothing. The others stayed behind while he stepped further in. Moments later, he came back outside, pale and shaking, telling them to call the police. Within minutes, flashing lights lit up Lakeview Drive. Crime scene tapes stretched across the yard. Officers moved quickly, clearing the house room by room. What they found wasn't a burglary gone wrong or a freak accident. It was something else entirely. A crime scene so gruesome, so disordered, that it seemed pulled from a nightmare. The bodies of Kevin, Lisa, and Tyler Owens were found inside, each in separate rooms, each murdered with chilling precision. The living room showed signs of a struggle. Furniture overturned, blood smeared on the walls, a shattered photo frame on the floor. Upstairs, the bedrooms had been searched, but not ransacked. Strangely, little Mia Owens was nowhere to be found. Her bed was neatly made, her favorite stuffed giraffe resting on the pillow. Her shoes were gone, and her closet was open, empty hangers swinging slightly. As police secured the scene, they realized what they were looking at wasn't just a triple homicide. It was something far more complex. A family had been slaughtered in their own home, and a 4-year-old girl had disappeared without a single trace. No one had heard a scream. No one had seen a vehicle come or go. Just like that, Palm Ridge became the center of a mystery that would baffle investigators for years to come. Inside the Owens house, the silence was heavy, almost suffocating. Officers moved through each room slowly, carefully, trying not to disturb what was clearly a chaotic and brutal scene. The living room bore the first signs of violence. A coffee table was split in half, one of its legs snapped clean off. A deep, crimson stain soaked into the cream-colored rug beneath it. Nearby, the family's framed photographs lay scattered, many of them shattered, their glass shards glittering like ice in the dim light. Kevin Owens was found just beyond the hallway, slumped against the wall. His injuries suggested he had put up a fight. Blood streaked the drywall where his body had slid down, and there were signs of blunt force trauma. Lisa was discovered upstairs in the master bedroom. Her body was neatly placed on the bed, hands folded over her chest, as if someone had arranged her there with care after the fact. But her face bore clear evidence of fear, and the position of the room, nothing out of place, no struggle, left investigators puzzled. Tyler, the teenage son, was found in his bedroom, his headphones still around his neck. He may not have even heard the attack coming. The absence of Mia was immediately obvious. Her bedroom was quiet, tidy, with small touches that showed the life of a happy child. Drawings taped to the wall, dolls lined up on a shelf, a blanket folded at the foot of her tiny bed. But she was gone. Her closet door was ajar, and her pink sneakers were missing. One detective noted that the child safety lock on the back door had been disabled, which might have allowed her or someone else to exit the house without setting off the alarm. Even more disturbing was the complete lack of evidence. No forced entry, no fingerprints that didn't belong to the family, no foreign DNA. The only partial print found on the broken coffee table leg was too smudged to identify. Surveillance from the front of the house didn't show any unusual activity in the hours leading up to the suspected time of death, and the back of the house faced a dense patch of trees and marsh, an easy place to hide or flee unseen. Detectives began to suspect that the killer knew the family, knew their routines, and most chilling of all, knew how to navigate the house in the dark. The precision of the attack suggested planning, not randomness. Kevin's injuries indicated he was attacked first, likely to eliminate the main source of resistance. Lisa's calm scene may have meant she was taken by surprise, or worse, knew her attacker. Tyler's sudden death added to the theory that the killer had moved quickly, silencing everyone in the house within a short window of time. But Mia's disappearance changed everything. The question wasn't just who had killed the Owens family, it was why take a 4-year-old. And how could they vanish without leaving a single clue? The house had become a puzzle with missing pieces, and time was running out to find the one piece that mattered most: Mia Owens. In the days following the discovery of the Owens family murders, investigators scrambled to piece together a timeline. Every second that passed without finding Mia Owens increased the chances that she might never be found. Detectives began by reconstructing the final movements of each family member. Security footage, phone records, and digital data were pulled together to create a clearer picture of the family's last known hours. At 8:13 p.m. on June 2nd, Kevin Owens was seen taking out the trash on a neighbor's doorbell camera. He waved toward the house, smiled, and then disappeared back inside. Roughly 30 minutes later, at 8:42 p.m., Tyler posted a picture of their dog, Shadow, on his social media account. That was the last confirmed contact from anyone in the family. From that moment forward, the house went dark. Phone signals stopped. No text messages were sent. No outgoing calls were made. Detectives noted that the home's smart speaker system disconnected from Wi-Fi at 9:01 p.m. The home security system was manually turned off less than 2 minutes later. Both devices required knowledge of the system's passcode, suggesting the person responsible had either been let into the house or already had access. This was no random break-in. More unsettling was the lack of noise or commotion reported by neighbors. Several lived just a few yards away, yet none heard shouting, barking, or any indication of struggle. One woman thought she heard a loud thud around 10 p.m., but she assumed it was teenagers setting off fireworks or someone dropping. furniture. By all appearances, the family had simply vanished into silence. A small but important lead came from a neighbor who told police about a black SUV idling across the street sometime between midnight and 1 a.m. It had its headlights off, and the engine ran for nearly 20 minutes. The vehicle then backed slowly down the road and disappeared. No license plate was visible. When the area was canvassed for surveillance cameras, most homes facing the road had either inactive systems or angles that didn't capture the street well at night. The SUV might have been nothing, or it could have been the escape vehicle. Then came a chilling twist. 3 days after the murders, an anonymous tip was sent to a cybercrimes division through an encrypted email service. Attached was a screenshot from what appeared to be a dark web forum. The image showed a small child with blonde hair sitting on a concrete floor. The child's face was obscured by shadow, but investigators noted the same blue pajamas Mia had reportedly worn to bed that night. The timestamp on the image was from June 4th, after the murders. Digital experts traced the post to a scrambled IP address bouncing through servers across 4 different countries. It was a dead end. The original message had vanished before a trace could be logged. But the image changed everything. It was the first and only sign that Mia Owens could still be alive, and someone wanted them to know it. As investigators chased dead-end leads and analyzed the sparse forensic evidence, they turned their focus to the Owens family's history. They needed to know if someone had a reason to target them, not just randomly, but with intention and familiarity. What they uncovered shifted the investigation in an unexpected direction. Years earlier, long before their quiet life in Palm Ridge, Lisa Owens had been involved in a major federal case. While working as an administrative assistant for a private logistics company in Georgia, she accidentally discovered internal documents tied to drug trafficking operations. Rather than stay silent, she brought the files to authorities. Her testimony became a key element in a federal indictment against a large-scale drug network operating through commercial freight. At the time, Lisa was placed under temporary witness protection for the duration of the trial. The case eventually collapsed when 2 other witnesses recanted their statements and charges against the organization's leaders were dropped. Lisa's protection was revoked, and her family relocated to Florida in what was described as a voluntary safety decision. But it raised questions. Had someone from that past life finally come looking for her? Investigators dug deeper, pulling case files and sealed testimony logs. The names of several key suspects from the old trial had resurfaced in recent years, involved in smaller operations throughout the Southeast. One of them, a man with ties to a criminal outfit in Alabama, had disappeared off the radar 2 months before the Owens family murders. He had a history of violent offenses and was known to target informants. The timing was unsettling. Then came a call from a woman at a rest stop outside Birmingham, Alabama. She claimed she saw a little girl matching Mia's description standing near a vending machine late one evening, accompanied by a woman with dyed black hair and oversized sunglasses. The child didn't speak and looked confused. Before the witness could react, the woman led the girl to a dark sedan and drove off. Security footage confirmed a brief visual of a young child, though the quality was poor. The woman's face was never clearly shown, and the car was traced to an identity belonging to a missing woman in Mississippi, unaccounted for since January. Authorities were divided. Was Mia in the hands of someone who believed they were protecting her? Or was she being moved from place to place, deliberately hidden, used as leverage, or worse? A theory began to form that the murders weren't just about revenge or silencing a witness. Mia was the target. Whether for ransom, leverage, or something else, she had been taken while the rest of her family was methodically erased. It was no longer just a homicide case. It had become a hunt across state lines, with a growing sense of urgency and dread. But the deeper authorities looked, the clearer it became. Whoever was behind this had planned every move. They knew Lisa's past. They knew the Owens routine. And most disturbing of all, they were always one step ahead. As weeks turned into months, the Owens case grew colder. Billboards with Mia's face faded in the sun. News segments shifted focus to new tragedies. The house on Lakeview Drive, once filled with life and laughter, stood empty behind faded crime scene tape. But inside law enforcement circles, the investigation never truly stopped. Every few weeks a new lead emerged, a blurry photo, a vague tip, a supposed sighting, only to fizzle out under scrutiny. Still, detectives held on to the possibility that somewhere, somehow, Mia Owens was alive. The FBI took over as the primary agency, expanding the search across state lines and reviewing thousands of phone records, travel logs, and dark web communications. Special agents combed through old drug case files, re-interviewed witnesses from Lisa Owens' past, and tracked movements of former suspects with known grudges. But the case seemed cursed by its own complexity. The killer had left no trail, and the abduction was executed with chilling precision. Despite all efforts, the investigation kept circling back to the same dead ends. 6 months after the murders, investigators tried something different. They reopened the case to behavioral analysts and criminal profilers. What they proposed was unsettling. The killer, or killers, might not be interested in ransom or money. The crime had too much planning, too much control. It suggested someone with a personal motive and a desire for erasure, not chaos. Mia, they theorized, could be alive, but only as a piece in someone else's game. A child taken not to hurt her, but to keep her. Then came the most disturbing development yet. On the 1-year anniversary of the Owens murders, a small cardboard box arrived at the Palm Ridge Sheriff's Office. There was no return address, no postage marks. It had been dropped off by hand, sometime during the night. Inside was a single, pink shoe, worn, slightly scuffed, but unmistakable. Detectives immediately recognized it from family photos as one of Mia's favorites. Forensic tests confirmed it. DNA on the insole matched Mia's. There was no note, no message, no clue, just silence. The package reignited the investigation, though it raised more questions than answers. Was it a warning, a sign that she was alive? Or something more sinister, a taunt from someone who enjoyed the attention? Despite a renewed push, no new leads surfaced. The woman seen at the Alabama rest stop was never identified. The black SUV was never traced, and the dark web post remained an isolated clue floating in the vast unknown of cyberspace. Eventually, public interest waned. The Owens house was torn down. The lot remains vacant to this day. But for those closest to the case, it's not over. Some believe Mia was taken by someone who wanted to rescue her from a danger only they understood. Others believe she was used and discarded. No one knows for sure. But every now and then, someone claims to see a little girl standing near the old property line, blonde hair, blue pajamas, just watching, always watching.